Hey,
HP, Grant, Paul, wonderful. Thanks for joining me today to talk about the secret art of human flight. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Grant, tell us about Ben. He's going through a tough time. What's he dealing with in his life right now?
He sure is. Ben Grady is a children's book author whose wife slash illustrator, confidant, his other half passes away, and when we meet him, he's numb. He is completely destabilized, and like a lot of people, especially going through the pandemic and after, it's been I think a lot of people can relate to what he's going through, and he just needs something, anything. It can be mundane or it can be insane, but he's just got to latch on to something and see it through. And hopefully, in the process, it sort of steers him back to life, to community, to connection, and that's who this guy is.
And Paul, a mealworm, he's a guru that possesses a special gift, or so he claims. How does he help Ben in his troubles?
Well, he's at the heart of the movie. It's about grief and how different people handle their grieving situations. So I think Mealworm is still grieving himself. He's a flawed character, and I think, like a lot of gurus, he needs somebody else to make that human connection to see that he's all right. So I think that what happens is you just see these two guys dealing with their own set of grief or feelings of grief and how that's going to resolve itself, which sometimes, it never gets resolved. You just
And
live with it.
I'd say, HP, this movie touched you in a special way, especially before the production. Do you think this film reflects your own journey?
I think I tried to make the execution reflect my own journey, right? Like this is the first script that I didn't write. But at the same time, this was smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. I'd lost three friends in a row to COVID. A lot of people, our prop master, he lost his father. I was talking to everybody on set about who they'd lost, what they'd lost, financially. People lost housing. I think in the end, it was all our story because I think the simple hidden genius of Jesse Orenshine's script is that anyone can be a cipher that you can slip into the shoes of, right? Like this is the story of grief. And like it's in my 20 years of doing independent film, this is the first time that I realized I can say less and have the audience relate to more.
I was going to say, HP, I lost my mom during COVID too. So
Oh,
this
I'm
movie
sorry.
really, I really connected with this film. I really did.
I'm so sorry. Day one of Paul on set, the day before Paul showed up, I remember there was this feeling. I was staying in a cabin with our cinematographer Marcus Menser, and we're storyboarding. We're having a great time. We're kind of even like we have gallows humor. We're kind of like joking about death. And I get a call from my mom. The day before Paul Raci shows up, I get a call from my mom. She says your dad died, and I remember there was that feeling of like, okay, this is that moment where I have to make this decision. What do I do? And my dad was in the Philippines, and I ended up seeing the live stream of his funeral. I stayed in Massachusetts, and I just kind of worked it all out. And I remember it made that first hug when Paul first showed up on set. That first hug just meant so much, you
Oh.
know. I remember just thinking to myself, "This is okay. This is what we're doing. This is it."
Well, Grant, like we're talking about loss and grieving. Did you draw upon anything for your character?
I sure did. Yeah, yeah. No, it was it was a very let's just say the script found me at a very poignant time in my life where I was feeling a lot of things and I didn't know, as as artists, we have to sort of figure out how to express what we're feeling, and how we're going to reflect the world around us. And I was very deep into a destabilization, I would say. And then this thing found me at the perfect moment, and I was so grateful for it. I really was, Jeff. It was like it just found me. Like the universe just said, "Here you go." Sort of like, and it very much echoed my character's journey, Ben's journey of just like you need something, and for Ben, it's the secret art of human flight, and for Grant, it's the secret art of human flight. So I can't believe it's out now, and I just hope that it's as helpful to others as it was to me. And look at what we got to do, and look who I got to play with.
And Paul, talk about finding the look for Mealworm. I love his look. I love his jewelry. I mean, how much thought and effort was discussed, and how did you become Mealworm? I love that.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me. Well, they had already talked about what they wanted him to look like before I got there. So they had my costume and an idea of where we were going to go with it. But my whole thing was being in Los Angeles, and I moved here in the early 90s. I met a lot of self-help gurus, a lot of life coaches. I was church hopping looking for somebody, and I found my spiritual guru. His name was Nirvana, and he dressed exactly like Mealworm. So when they had this character with the name Mealworm and dressing like that, I just took to it like water. It was like perfect. But everything the way he acts, his posture, and not only that, his background. The real Nirvana that I followed here in Los Angeles was a former drug dealer. So there you go. And he had all these people following him at this mega church, a mega spiritual center. So, and Los Angeles is rife with them. They're just all over the place like rats. And the cool thing about it is that he's such a Los Angeles animal. He drives this Winnebago and he can go to any part of the country and do his thing for a certain amount of money. But there's also that searching. He's flawed, but he's searching and himself.
And HP, did you have a tarantula wrangler on the set? You know, because
He sure did. Marissa Bellis.
it's Hollywood, right? You got to find a wrangler, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, we did. Her name was Marissa Bellis. Thank you so much. I think
Yes.
Grant should speak about this because, like, I'm not fit to tell it as beautifully as Grant tells it because Grant was overcoming some very real fears of his own.
Yeah, no, again, it was all of the things that you're called upon to do in this movie, sleeping on the roof. You got to work out, you got to conquer claustrophobia, you got to conquer fear of heights and birds and all sorts of stuff. So by the time that we got to actually shoot the tarantula, I think I was so just like deadened to any sort of my adrenaline shot. So we get to set and I'm introduced to Bernie, the sweet little tarantula who's been defanged, and she and they hand her over to me, starts crawling all over me, and by this point I'm like, oh, what a cute little tarantula, and then we're shooting with the tarantula, and between action and cut I'm like, oh, terrified of tarantula. And then as soon as they call cut, I'm like, oh, are you okay, are you okay, Bernie? And so we're shooting with this tarantula for like, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, an hour. And then Marissa, the wrangler, comes back over. It's like, careful, you got to be careful. Like it could like bite you, And I was like,
Yes.
I thought I'd been defanged. I thought Bernie had been defanged. And she goes, who's Bernie?
Oh no.
They completely made it up. It wasn't a girl. It wasn't defanged. And it wasn't named Bernie. And I was like, wait a second. Tina, our other producer, completely lied to me, and thank God she did, because I would not have been okay with this tarantula, this anonymous tarantula, crawling all over me with the potential to bite me at any second. They just knew. I think everybody just knew at this point. It's like, we got to just lie to Grant. Just feed him shit, keep him in the dark, and let's just get through this. And we'll tell him at the end what he actually did.
Excellent acting in that scene. I loved it. So
thank you very much.
And finally today, HP, you've been taking this around to the film festival circuit from Tribeca and all different places. I think you're having a premiere in the Bay Area. All my relatives are from there, And
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they live in Los Altos Hills. I've been going to the Bay Area my whole life, and so is it exciting for you to return home with your film?
It is. It's I don't know. It's kind of sad because I'm here in LA right now with these guys, and I'm gonna leave them to go home and talk with Tim Sika, who's with the Film Critics Association. So that's lovely, and I love the Roxy Theater. But yeah, I'm hoping there's a way we can share our premieres together. Maybe we can do it via Zoom, like on stage, because like we've become a family. Like this isn't a job. Like when you spend 3 years working on a film, you build real connections with people.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, congratulations on a wonderful film. I appreciate your time today, and let's talk again soon. Thank you so much. And Paul,
thank you very much.
Fan of yours, by the way.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.